This week's episode is proudly sponsored by Texas Roadhouse, where there's legendary food with legendary service.
Yep. We're back.
We bake.
Serving up a fresh can of What the Podcast. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
Together we are.
Ryan and John.
On the couch, as always, Cara Tafolla. Annie the Skovmand.
There she is.
That's it.
That's
That's it. Thanks for tuning in.
We're back in the...
Hey, guys. Wow.
feels good to be back.
What a week. Hey.
What a week it has been.
A lot of developments across the world, I would say.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift and Maggie Lee broke up
Ugh.
already.
So much
So
for
we're
that
not getting
good
a good
album.
album?
No.
Nah.
Maybe she's experienced enough heartbreak.
I think it was.
What was
an
it, like 2
exploratory
weeks? 3 weeks?
dating.
Explore.
Yeah, gotta have a rebound boy.
Yeah.
course.
I mean, I feel like she must have an insane sex drive because she just like gets with another boy so quick.
Yeah.
I saw a fan theory that she did this as an experiment because she has the song "The Man." That's like if she was a man, then she
Okay.
wouldn't be harassed. She wouldn't,
Okay,
whatever.
go ahead.
And that is this was an experiment because if she was a man, nobody would be talking about it.
Oh.
Yeah, can you believe
kind of a-
Taylor Swift fans? They'll go to
Yeah.
extreme extents to.
I always
explain
wonder
that
what
girl.
came first, like the fan theories or the true Easter egging that she did. I kind of
I
feel
think
like,
I think the
fan
same
theories.
thing.
Connected.
no, I feel like the
No,
fans.
but did she start
made
leaving
connections
Easter
and
eggs
then-
because the fans were so, like?
Yeah, right.
Oh, I
What's
bet.
the word?
Yeah, I bet that. I bet fans were going.
I think
crazy.
she
was
saw
like,
it
Maybe
and she's like,
should.
I should play into this because
Maybe.
my fans are a little bit psychotic,
Yes.
and I'm gonna play and make some money off of it. Obviously.
Yep.
Well, good for her. I mean, get out of your morning phase and
Get out of your
get back
morning
to work.
phase.
I
She
guess.
swallowed a bug at her concert last night.
She did.
What do you think that's referring to? Like the next
funny.
Midnight
Like-
Tracks is
Oh.
like the Bugs version of
The Bug's Life.
Speak Now or something. A Bug's
my
Life.
gosh.
Wow.
Her
I
and the
don't-
Bug's Life mix.
I
Crazy. That
every
was-
time I
That was
DJ
flick.
an event and people request Taylor Swift songs, I particularly don't play the Taylor's version.
Wow.
Such an
Well,
ass.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've heard you say that
Yeah.
before.
Well, also
Yeah.
"Shake
That's
It
pretty
Off" has
crazy.
not come out yet, and that's like a big song.
Yeah.
So think
So
about
you
that one
can't
next
play
time.
Taylor's
Well,
version.
DJ John.
I particularly look for a non-Taylor version, and then I get on the microphone and I say,
wait.
"That's Taylor's version," and they all go, "Yeah," and I'm like,
you
well,
go,
it wasn't.
psych.
I didn't tell.
Psych.
Wait.
They're like, we knew it
Shake
was.
It Off wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
I know, but it was 1989. Hasn't been redone.
Annie, there's money to be made out there. Okay?
There's money
But
on
like,
them, their
I
hills.
feel like that's too new. You
Oh,
can't
see,
redo that
now
line.
now there's a line.
Reputation came after that.
It's not about oldness. It's about sending a message to Scooter Braun
And
Just
saying,
scoot
and
up
saying,
cookie.
you don't own me.
yeah.
Well, hey,
Screw that
speaking
guy.
of sending a message, you guys see all that stuff about the Apple summit that they had?
Listen, there's some stuff I'm stoked on.
What are you stoked on? Give
Okay.
us some highlights.
First of all, the home feature where you could like let your friends know. It's like a whole
Check-in.
app, a check-in.
Yes,
Where you,
yes.
like the oh, text me when you get home. I'm notoriously bad at that.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love is you can like it will. So basically, like you set it up where you have like, oh, check in on so and so, and you like set up where like when you leave to go home, it will alert them when you get home, and if it takes you longer than it normally does, it will check in with you and say, hey, like, did you make a stop, or like, do you want to extend your time, or do you want to like,
And it sends it to your friend.
and it sends it to you before it sends it to your friend, so your friend's not like, why didn't you make it home yet?
Whoa.
You're like, I stopped for gas.
And then, yeah, it's so cool. And so then when you get there, you don't have to be like, oh, shoot, I forgot to text them. It's like, hey,
Pretty
and
cool built-in text me when you get home feature.
if you don't like respond or whatever within a certain amount of time, it will also like help, like it will call them or like notify them to like call in and check on you to make sure something's okay. And then I'm also really excited about the voice text transcript.
Okay.
So you can like send a voice memo.
Yes.
But if you can't listen to it in that moment, you can hit transcribe and it will transcribe it for you
Into a text.
into a text.
Well, like voicemails.
Oh.
Yeah.
Except for some reason, my phone doesn't do the voicemails thing, and I have looked it up.
Where it
and
shows you the
looked it
text
up.
of it?
Yes.
What kind of phone do you have?
Yeah.
I have a 13.
It's
An
too old.
That's an iPhone. You know which one I saw? I'm not sure how. Well, maybe you, Annie. This is a thing now. If you get an unwarranted nude via text message, your phone will blur it out and say, "Do you want to look at this nude?" And you press yes. This is also, it's like a
You press
not
yes.
safe for
You
work
always press yes.
feature.
So,
So if you get like
you
an
always press yes.
yeah, of course. If you get an unsolicited like wiener pic or something, you can decide not to look at it.
You know what I foresee this happening?
Go ahead.
I foresee like people figuring out
Memes.
how far they can go to make
Kind of
it
an
look like a
interesting
wiener without it being
experiment,
a wiener to see
Yeah. How far
like what
can
it will
you-
censor.
That's
That
kind
is
of cool.
fun. Like
I
picture
like
of a
you know like
cucumber.
the whole like butt when you do your arms,
Totally.
like arm crease and it looks like butt cheeks.
I
like
said
So
how
good.
Oh,
who
we
is
used to do that all the
sending
time.
nudes through iMessage?
idiots,
Old
you know?
people. Annie.
idiots.
Idiot.
I need some people to delete some things.
Gosh.
Reaching out to my
Never.
people now. So yeah, big iOS update. A couple
Yeah.
new, like a new MacBook is coming out, a new iteration of the phone.
It's always faster, better.
The biggest one. Sure, go ahead.
No,
Before I say the biggest one.
you go, you do it.
The
Because I don't
biggest
know what we're
one,
gonna say.
it's not Google. It's like Google Glass. It is the Apple VR
like
headset. It's called like something. Do you remember what it was
Lens,
called?
right? Something lens?
Yeah, Apple Lens.
I'll have to find out.
It's augmented reality. So it's like you can see your apps pop up, but it's like you're still, you look through your glasses and it's like you're still sitting in the room, but then you see like
So
app
Wally,
It's like
pop
all
up.
those. No, it's
It's like
like all
Wall-E.
those spy movies.
no,
God.
it's more like Wally. Yeah. Well, no, like
Way
what
to
spy
go.
movies?
It's like spy movies.
Yeah, like Spy Kids, sure.
Where it's like where
Spy
you
Kids
see
2,
like
when
the
he's got the
little
glasses.
robot and it's like scanning people and being like, this person is from this.
It'll be exactly like that.
Yeah.
A couple
no
of
thanks.
features,
Yeah,
couple
it's
of
really
features
big,
they have with it is you can wear it and you can scan your face. Like, how you already scan your face for like Face ID. It'll make a model of your face and you can FaceTime somebody when you're wearing it, but it'll show them the model of your face talking to them. It's kind of
AI.
big brain. It's like you're wearing it and you're talking and interacting.
so you don't have to hold the phone up.
You don't have to hold the phone. It's like
It will
you're
just
wearing
like
it,
will,
and it AIs
It's
your
really
face.
big and bulky, which when I saw it, I was like, no.
It's a lot thinner than like a Oculus. Oculus is like way off. Apparently, it's going to be like this, this
that's
thin
kinda
off of your
cool.
face,
The
a couple inches
Apple
off your
I've
face.
gotta
goggles.
say-
Apple goggles.
nothing.
Provision. Sorry.
Provision.
Like the like goggles, glasses, none of it has taken off. Remember Snap?
True.
Like like
The
Google
Snap
came out with the
glasses.
Snap glasses, and then they had like all of those kind of like glasses.
Didn't Google
ones.
have this?
Yeah, Google did.
Google Glass. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, none of
And
them have
didn't-
taken off.
I don't think the technology was there yet.
I
I
knew
think
one
they tried to
person
roll it out
Who
before.
had them?
I
That's
guarantee
the one
this will be
thing
huge.
that Apple, I feel like, has always been good at is not releasing something until it is good.
Like functional.
I mean, there's always bugs and little things, but
Right.
like I feel like Android's always kind of quick to the jump on like we're gonna like especially with the foldable phone. Remember where they had this whole thing where it was like
Ugly.
They tried to get the foldable phone and it just wasn't working,
Yes.
but it was all happening publicly. Like
Right.
people were buying them and realizing they were crap, and
They
then,
bought a prototype,
right, whatever.
basically.
And I think Apple does a good job of like, hey, we're not going live with this until we know it.
Well,
it
they do a
works.
good job of taking our money too. They
Yeah.
are
I don't know
starting
about
price.
Provision though. Those-
Starting price of Apple Provision $3,500.
Okay,
It's for all the richies.
so you
For all
say
the
this,
richies.
but then on the flip side, the average iPhone drop the iPhones have been dropping like at like $1,000 a pop
Sure.
for like brand
Starting.
new starting. The iPhone 15 is going to have a base model that is like the same size as the 14, not the Pro. And it's going to have all these upgrades that would make it equivalent to the Pro Max.
So this size.
Okay. For
So,
how
like,
much?
Well, so it would be that size, $800 starting. So the whole idea is
You
all the
upgrade to it.
technology, all the same technology as the like highest 14,
Okay.
with the updated camera of the 15 for less than like a 14 Max,
Well,
whatever
that's
it's
like
going
when
for.
they came out with the 14 with the mini. It still has all the same.
So every
info
year
on
the
that.
technology gets better, but then generally the price comes down. Is that what you're saying?
So what I'm saying is like, they've made a model where they're like, okay, it's insane to ask people
Same thing
to
with the
spend,
SE. They did the same thing with the SE.
yeah, like
It's a
$1,500
stripped
on
down
a
version.
phone. Let's make one that is more reasonable. Where because it's the kind of thing where it's like it makes it so these people like when a new phone drops, everyone upgrades to the older model,
Right.
Because they start having all these deals on them, and so they're not really necessarily getting a ton of sales of like, lines out the door to get the 15. Everyone's upgrading to the 14 because now it's like reasonably priced.
So you kind of gaslight yourself. You're like, I'd never pay $1,400, but I'd definitely pay $900 for a new
'cause then
iPhone.
it splits through the month, and you do it monthly with your cellular
I
payment.
just paid off
Crazy.
my guy.
How do you feel about it?
I feel good. I don't
Have you
think
dropped
What
it
do you
yet?
have?
I have a
14?
12.
Oh, a 12.
Oh my gosh! Yikes!
Just a
I have
baseline
a better
12?
phone. No, you have a
No,
big
that's
one.
a 12 Pro Max. Right
No,
there.
I-
It's got to be. Same
I
as
don't know.
mine.
I got in the, for a long time I was in this, what you, Annie, mentioned, just like kind of like going and getting the newest thing when it dropped.
Sure.
And now I feel like I'm in a point where I don't want to upgrade unless there's some marketable difference. And I'm not just talking about like speed and processing and all that. I'm like, I have to see something new. So like
Yeah.
when I had the Apple Watch 4 forever, and they're on 8 now, I think.
Yeah.
And I didn't upgrade to this until, because like the Ultra was just like so different in feel and in functionality and look. And I think that's kind of my baseline, unfortunately, now is like I don't really see myself upgrading my phone, of course, unless it breaks.
I feel like it's
That's
like
where I am too. I've paid this off 2 years ago.
Oh wow, you
know what?
paid your money.
what? You got a new phone like last summer, didn't you? At the fair? Or was that 2 summers ago?
Oh, she got.
You're out of your damn
you have a
mind.
13. There's no way you got it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's because
That was
it was
last
a
year.
free trade-in at the fair, which
Allegedly.
ended up being a scam.
Yeah.
Which ended up being my parents calling Verizon forever, but they ended up giving it for free anyways.
A scam.
I mean,
How so?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
there was a
they were like
Verizon
no
tent.
fees, and I guess the guy was like selling phones, kind of not under the table, but
No, but it was a Verizon tent, and it was like, oh, trade in your old phone.
Yeah, but it was just
and
some
you
schmuck
get
at
it
the
for
table.
your trade-in value. It was like we only had to pay $350, no tax, no whatever, and then suddenly Verizon kept sending a bill where it was like, oh, you owe $100 a month instead of the cellular, which is $25. And my parents were like, wait a second, and then they figured it out, and Verizon was like,
Wow.
okay, that's fine.
there's this Tafolla saying that goes, "If it sounds too good to be true,
It's
it
not.
usually is."
Oh,
Never. Always go for it. It's never too good to be true. That's the old saying.
Gosh.
But another thing that iPhone's doing is they're switching to USB-C.
oh, I
Yes.
love.
That was a long time ago, though.
Yours
Yeah,
is
now-
USB-C?
No.
No, yours is Lightning.
No. Lightning still.
Yeah, it's Lightning.
The next
I was gonna say-
the thicker, like the
one that-
laptops are like
that's
that.
with
They're more
already.
stupid
difficult.
phones.
Yeah. No,
I
they're
hate
awesome.
that.
Galaxies.
I hate it.
Why?
Stupid.
I don't like it either.
Okay, first of all, you have
Most things are USB-C
Yes,
now.
yes, thank you.
Really? That's what
Exactly.
they said about lightning cable.
Yeah, but
when
mine-
lightning
My-
cable,
Listen,
I
all
was
my
it was
technology,
the
all
thick.
my headphones from all different makers are
yeah.
USB-C. I have a ton of technology.
How many
that's
headphones you
USB-C.
got?
I got 3.
3.
Ball out, and they're all from the same brand.
No, they're different.
course.
Different brands.
Look, all I'm saying is we had the 8-pin thing,
Yeah.
the big wide one when I had
Well,
my iPhone 5.
Yeah.
And then it was like, no, but this is the best one, is the lightning cable. And then I stopped believing them when they were like, oh no, you can just set your phone on this thing and it charges it. And now the next port is just going to be a USB-C.
Well, I'm kind of I guess the port probably does the data portion of it, I imagine. But I was just I a couple weeks ago I was like, I don't ever plug my phone in.
Oh,
Like
you set it
I have a
down?
magnet on my work desk. I have a magnet next to my bed, and like it very rarely gets actually plugged in, to the point where like
Yeah.
I went to go plug it in one time, it wasn't working, and there's a bunch of dust in there. I just like never plug it in.
I just feel it's that thing. It's like planned obsolescence, right? Or whatever it is.
Sure.
Like, I've got a laptop from 2015, and it's got every port you ever want on it. It's got
Yeah.
HDMI, it's got USB-A,
missed that. I
it's
missed
got
that.
freaking Lightning, it's got Bebo, it's got Shmemo. It's got all the things on the side. Yeah,
Evo and Shmemo.
yeah.
That's a lot of Shmemos.
They kind of sunsetted those out after a
They
while.
sunsetted the Shmemos.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But then the next generation didn't have any of them. Like, why would you want less user
Well,
abilities?
that was a big controversy for a little while there, because I I got the laptop in between because they got rid of all the ports, and they're like, we're going to give you 2 Lightning ports, or you're going to give you 2 USB-Cs.
USB-C.
USB-C is what I meant to say. And this is all the rage, you know what I'm saying? And what that did was it opened up this huge market for adapters. You know, there was already a market for adapters, but then when you think you only have 2 USB-Cs,
knowing you, John, you probably got like years worth of adapters.
it's so
You've
bad.
got every
It's so
adapter
bad.
under the sun.
And then all of a sudden, a year ago, they go, "We're bringing all the same ports you know and love back to the." And I was like, "Screw
So
you
stupid.
guys!"
And now they're making this move where everybody that sells third-party chargers, these lightning cables, they're all going to have to, obviously, because Apple's like, well, we're going to hope that you just buy our USB-C chargers that come, you know, they break or they don't come with the phone or something like that. You know, it'll be something like that. And they'll just make an extra 10 cents on the dollar.
I will say the
and then they'll
USB-C I'm
screw you.
excited for because, like I said, almost everything I have now is USB-C. Like my iPad's USB-C,
Sure.
my laptop's, and so I'm like, to be able to get everything would be nice for universal capabilities.
There's some
but-
stuff. Well,
Yeah.
granted, I'm probably not switching my phone anytime soon, but like I have a 1 terabyte
Hard drive.
that plugs directly in with my Lightning port
Nice.
wow.
into my phone that my parents
Oh.
got me for like wedding stuff. So they're like, we know you take a bunch of pictures, download it into your phone. This way you can just like
Do you use
offload
that?
it. I
You have that too.
tried to use it once.
Because I was gonna say it. 'Cause I was like, that doesn't seem
That
like
seems
something
like
you
big
would,
technology
like,
for the Annie
with-
camp.
Not big
I,
technology,
but the
but
problem,
you know,
I tried to use it like when I was like panicked. It was like no storage, and I was in the middle trying to do something, and I was like, forget it.
Come on.
But I just saw it in my car, and I was like, I need to use this.
Wow.
But that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, well, that would suck because that's like a terabyte worth of stuff that then
Yeah.
will become truly obsolete. Where like,
there's got to be a new cable for it though.
yeah, where it's like turn your USB-C to a or
Lightning
to
Lightning to
Oh, yeah.
USB-C.
Yeah, I have
They
one
make
of
an
those.
adapter for everything, guys.
They
That's
do.
just the way it is.
They do.
I
The
I
bastards.
just found out that they make a Lightning to Ethernet, which means you can plug your
Oh.
phone
In
directly into your
hardline
router
internet?
and get like
that's-
400 megabytes per
I feel
second.
like your phone would explode.
Wow, totally.
yeah. At what point does the technology like just not?
You're
Well,
like,
that's like-
streaming Fortnite to
That's like
Twitch.
Tanya was trying to
Hardline
play.
from your
It's like
phone.
burning.
Tanya was trying to play a DVD for Lily, but the new TV doesn't have the right cable
Really?
connector for the DVD player that they have.
Oh, it doesn't have the red,
Yes.
white. Yeah, you can get an adapter for that too.
The
They did.
RCA cable, if you
I
will.
actually have one, which is so random. I have an HDMI.
Now
to
you
RCA.
are your family's tech support, right?
Yeah,
As am I.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
feel like half of my experience is just like, how do I plug this into this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just can't.
Yep.
You need an
can't.
adapter for it. That's my life.
Oh,
So
I know.
speaking of adapting, not really, kind
Go
of.
ahead.
You guys know about this PGA thing?
Oh yeah, I heard about it.
No.
Okay, so LIV Live.
Live.
It's like this kind of
Live your truth.
alternative golf league that was started, and it was super controversial because they were receiving money. They were backed by like Saudi Arabia. It was like the Taliban and like from the Middle East. All this money was coming from over there. Maybe not the Taliban. Maybe I
Yeah,
just
I was like, that's such a
missaid
fucking
that.
big bold like.
No,
No, let's find out.
it
I'll
was
find
like
out.
the Saudi government was like
Funding it.
and it was like criminal money was
Damn, not
being
everyone
filtered
in
through
Saudi
it.
Arabia is a
I know.
criminal.
I realize that.
Canceled,
Okay.
canceled.
It was controversial.
I don't know. I
please.
don't think we have to worry about like offending the Taliban, but
Okay,
I think the
but we're
Taliban's
not-
from
I'm not-
a different place,
Listen,
though.
I'm not
I
afraid
said
of
it wrong.
offending the criminals. I'm afraid of the poor people who just happen to live there, who are like, wow, why does everyone think we're like so messed up?
Okay, John.
We just love
I got
golf.
it.
Help
I
me
got
out.
it.
Help
I
me
got it.
out.
Love
I
golf
got
so much,
it. I'm on it.
especially
Big golfers.
American
You
golf.
know what? Turns out only America can love golf. So
Yeah, go ahead, Annie. You say all of this
I'm
now.
Ryan, and I love golf and America. And anyone who has other money from other countries, you can go back to your
That's a
homeland.
quote. That's a quote from me.
okay, I got it.
Okay,
So
give it
much
to
so.
me.
Live Golf is backed by the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund,
Yes.
an entity controlled by the Saudi Crown Prince,
Okay, so the prince
And why is he
loves-
bad? Tell me why he's bad.
and he's been embroiled in antitrust lawsuits with the PGA Tour for the last year.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, our former president is on trial. So
Can you just hear the rest of the story?
Yeah.
The point is,
Tell me about the
is
criminal golf.
the PGA has been like on their high horse about this thing and blocking all of the because the LIV wants to come and fund certain golfers and this and that, like to be on their
they're like,
channel.
no, we're trying
and
to
the
make it
PGA is like
elitist.
the PGA is like, if you go, no, it's not elitist. It's like they're saying like, no, this is a crime against the world, like whatever. They're blocking their players and say, if you go and play for the LIV, you can't come back to the PGA. They're blocking.
Oh well,
people.
that's kind of messed up on the PGA. It's just
Especially messed up when we find out today in the AM that the PGA is merging with LIV. So they're taking all of that Saudi Arabian money and going, okay, great, now we're one big conglomerate and like absorbing them basically.
The big piece of it that I saw was, you know, when LIV was created, they were trying to entice all these PGA golfers.
Yes.
With huge sums of money.
Multi-millions.
And then PGA was telling their golfers, hey, like stick to the brand. We're trying to preserve the clarity of the sport, you know?
Yeah.
that sounds like elitist.
Right. And
We're trying to, like wash clean, golf.
Well,
trying to keep it like, everything.
You're
We're
losing
trying
the
not to
thread.
dirty
Hold
it
on.
up.
You are
Well,
losing the thread.
The big thing is now is these PGA players that stayed with PGA, because some of those big time players took the live big contract. It was like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Basically double cross.
And
like,
now that they're coming back together, these players are going to start playing in the same league again. And they're saying a lot of the reporters are like, those golfers that went with LIV will probably get fined, but it's nowhere near how much money they made from signing the deal
and
originally.
the PGA executives are now making those millions that those players turned down so they could stay with the PGA.
Right.
It's like, it's
a whole
all
thing.
kinds
So
of messed up.
It's going to probably be, and I guess all the active PGA players, they had no idea that this was happening. They found out through social media like everybody else.
Screwed them.
Damn. You ever play golf?
Nah.
Never played golf. I've been to Top Golf. Big fan of Top Golf. It's just swinging the ball.
Yeah.
I did
swinging
golf camp
the clubs.
at
You
at
played
the summer
golf, didn't
clubs,
you?
And the country club summer camp,
What'd you think of that?
tennis and golf camp. I was on varsity golf.
Yeah, I was
Okay,
going to say,
so
you
you
actually
played
played
golf.
it.
Yeah, I was on varsity golf for one day, but
Okay, one day.
I made the team. We only had varsity, so it wasn't that
Was
hard.
it just like a thing you were like, I want to make the team? And then...
No, I genuinely
mean
I
you
do
were
like
on the
golf.
team
I
for
really
one
do
day?
like golf.
Would you give up after one day?
Then I made the theater department, the fall musical or fall play, and then so that
Is that where they made
contradicted.
you the
We get
teacher, right?
We get
No,
that.
that was senior year. This is freshman year.
Okay.
So
freshman year.
I
Freshman
made
year varsity golf. huh?
Hey, by the way, what was the musical you were in?
it's not important what play it was.
No, I'm curious.
Is that when you were the dodo bird?
Oh.
It was like an
No.
evolutionary thing.
No,
right?
it's a musical
With a lot
that's
of-
canceled.
with a lot of
Hold on,
animals.
tell
Definitely
us.
canceled.
Just
Oh,
tell
go
us.
ahead,
It
Annie.
was called The Birds, and I was the dodo
It was the
bird.
birds.
Oh.
Anyway,
Oh, okay.
it was like
Christ,
it was
come
like
on.
some Greek tragedy that turned into like birds. I don't freaking know. But golf,
That's
I
funny.
genuinely like love the game of golf. I
Okay.
truly do.
I used to play when I was little with my dad. I had
Sure.
little Snoopy clubs.
Is that mini golf? You talking about?
Yeah, when
on a
you're little,
course.
everything's mini though. So
No, not a
It
golf
was
course.
mini
Golf course
golf.
is huge.
big golf course,
Big golf course.
But
maybe even bigger.
honestly, kind of like I don't know.
It's fine.
I'd go with
Watching
friends
it.
Okay.
now, but
I feel
This
like
was-
playing is so much fun than watching it.
oh yeah, I would never.
that's so
It's one of those sports where like, I mean, I guess there's pros in everything, right? There's like,
Sure.
there literally could be a pro at any sport.
Yeah.
There's like pro pickleball.
Yeah.
Listen, I didn't get it, and then I went to Top Golf. No, I kind of get it.
Yeah, Top
I'm
Golf
like,
is
swing a
different.
club.
Oh, I love golf.
Here's the best golf experience: is go hit some balls, go eat some buffalo wings, have a beer, hang out for 2 hours, and just like shoot
Well,
the shit. That's golf right
it's
there.
shooting the shit with your friends, like while like driving around golf
Yeah,
carts.
get in a golf cart.
While like being out in the fun, the sun, in the air.
Get
Like
blitzed.
it's great.
The
Come
fun,
on.
the sun, in the air.
The
That's
fun, the
really
sun,
nice.
in the air.
You should trademark that. That's pretty good. The fun, the sun, in the air. That's cool.
Skovmand golf. The
Skovmand
fun,
golf.
the sun, the air for one day.
Yeah, I was a country club kid for like 2 summers,
Oh,
and
so
then
you guys were rich. That's cool.
Bougie.
I like threw a fit at golf camp, and then my mom had to come pick me up, and then she was all mad at me. And
I did
Anyway.
lacrosse
What
camp
did, what
for
did the
3
fit?
years.
What did the fit look like?
they promised me more time in the pool than I got.
Whoa.
And I was pissed.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm not freaking playing golf if it wasn't able to swim.
I'm entitled to yard time, guys. I get this swim time.
That's in my contract with the country club. I don't think I was welcome back. But
That's
then,
crazy. So they called your parents and made them pick you up.
well, okay, when the kid refuses to walk onto the golf course, yeah.
I apologize.
Go
The Taliban is in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Different country.
You just
That was
like
messed
go
up.
ahead.
It was messed up.
messed up.
Yeah,
Got it.
I
Can
get
You messed up.
Go to his camera. Can you personally apologize to Saudi Arabia, please?
Saudi Arabia. You've got other stuff going on, so I'm not going to apologize to them.
Apologize to them.
But they're not the Taliban. The Taliban is in Afghanistan.
Now,
That's my
can you
bad.
say that you are a member of?
Okay.
That's just
Yeah, go ahead. I will say that I went to go search something on my phone.
and FBI watch.
And it was a different thing that I was searching earlier. We'll talk about it in the post show. Something we were Googling. And it was just there. So that's great.
A classic.
Typical us move.
You know what else came out in the news recently?
Yeah, go ahead.
What, you want to talk more about golf?
Let it rip.
No, I don't.
That was a great transition,
It was a
Annie.
great transition. Well, yeah, but you like
God.
dismissed it.
No, I just
Done.
had to do a whole apology thing. And
Yeah.
And he apologized.
yeah, that's my bad
Saudi
and my
Arabia.
ignorance.
Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Saudi
That is a
Arabia.
low.
Yikes.
Local podcaster apologizes
The
to
Saudi Arabia. Taliban after him after mistakenly placing them in Saudi Arabia.
That'd be crazy.
I get
right?
it. It's
That'd be
messed
crazy.
up.
That would
It's
be
messed
crazy
up.
if the
Okay,
Taliban
go
was
ahead,
after you.
Annie. Go ahead, Annie.
Rumor.
Complete
Complete
rumor.
Complete rumor, as the show often has. It has been going all over my For You page, and you guys didn't hear this, but John and I both did.
We did, yeah.
That Prince Harry is going to divorce Meghan Markle.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Wait, after all that?
After
they fled the
everything.
royal family? Do you think he's going back to the royal family?
There was like all these accounts of him reaching out to divorce lawyers.
Oh,
And like and I guess like
Guys,
listen, I'm not in like
here's how the rumor started.
yeah.
Prince Harry apparently retained a divorce lawyer. Like they know that's happened. And
Okay.
then also Meghan Markle was out seen like partying with her friends and like Harry wasn't there. And so they're putting like two and two together going like
they
there's
being the
probably-
TikTok people.
We need the
They're-
Swifties to be
they-
on this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Swifties figure shit out quick.
they really do. Okay, so he's retained a lawyer.
She's
She's
partying
out
without him.
partying. I mean, after all of that, like their whole thing was like they love each other and they're gonna escape the royal family.
Well, and then
they
that
did it
the
and they're
thing
living
was like,
in Canada.
what do you do? Like,
whatever.
does he go back? Like, what does he do after that?
Will you go back and you say,
But like,
Dad,
does he because he wants to be part of the kid's life?
I mean,
Like,
he's the
if he's not going
spare,
back
so
and
it's not
he's
like he's going back to anything, right? Like,
Whoa,
He's like,
whoa.
what,
I
like,
still haven't read the book though.
fourth in line.
it's called the spare.
Yeah. That's what made me think of the book.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
read
yeah.
that, but I haven't.
But the book, the thing that's interesting about the book is he didn't like. I mean, obviously, he kind of just like pointed out like the natural shortcomings of it, but he didn't necessarily say like, yeah, like f this.
You
this
think
is
he was playing
wrong.
it safe, maybe, so he could come back
Maybe,
someday?
but it kind of.
Like,
I mean, like
wouldn't
he
you?
talked about it.
I mean,
Interesting.
if I was gonna divorce my wife, maybe, but like,
I'm
Okay,
just
okay.
saying, like,
Here's
feel like
your options.
that was their whole thing. Was like
All your friends
screw
and
that,
family.
Like our love will sustain us.
All your friends and family
That's really
in the
sweet.
country that you're literally famous. Well, maybe the country hates him now.
Yeah, I would imagine there's
probably
some
does.
disdain,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and from his friends and family, alleged,
Yeah.
that are like, screw you, anyways, go die in
Meghan
America,
Markle, she's a real
Or-
monster.
or just like kick it in Canada and find something to do and meet somebody
Yeah.
new.
You know
And
what's crazy is
Play
bada
some
bing,
golf.
bada boo.
Tyler Perry provided
Familiar.
them security when they
Oh,
came
yeah.
to America.
Yeah,
He did.
Tyler Perry's a badass.
Isn't that crazy? Like I mean, I guess he's rich, but it's probably not that big of a deal.
He's
But like,
he's beyond rich.
You don't think
Sure.
it's just like a you scratch my back kind of thing?
I just think like how random that like. First of all, they come to America. They don't have any money, which is crazy. Like, well, they had money, but like not enough to sustain their own security. And Tyler Perry's like, "Nah, I got you. Don't worry." Like, I supposedly flew them out to America and like provided security and like let them stay in his home too for a portion of time.
Yeah, easy win if you have like a private jet. Totally.
Yeah, it's
like
true.
I'd be sending it out to everybody. Oh, you need my jet? Yeah, sure.
You think so?
For a favor later.
Talking about
Down the
private
line.
jets.
Go
This is the
ahead.
next transition.
Oh,
Little
Ryan
fast,
and I
but
both
okay.
watched this. Happy, smiling,
Shiny, happy people. John, you familiar with the Duggars? Did you ever watch
It's
16 Kids and Counting? 17 Kids
yeah,
and
of
Counting?
course,
18
of
Kids and
course.
Counting?
Yeah, and it was always kind of
19
off.
kids and counting.
Was
kind
it
of
always off for you?
I felt like I was always off.
I-
nothing ever felt right about it.
fully drank the Kool-Aid. I was so invested in this family.
Oh man.
I
Oh yeah,
remember-
absolutely. We were a TLC family for sure. We were watching that show.
I remember seeing it and remember how annoying the mom's voice was. That's really it.
That's a whole
I think-
tactic. It's a whole strategy.
Yeah, I think more for the spectacle of like how do they rate, and they even talk about it on this documentary. Like it's so fascinating, and we watch it because it's like every episode, it's like, oh, she's about to make 10 pounds of casserole right now. Oh, they have to do every day. This family was doing 10 loads of laundry every day, and so that's like it's this fascinating thing.
It was like this
America
giant
loves
kitchen, just giant house, like all the kids like in unison mopping the floors. This like giant table, and they were all homeschooled. That was like the big thing.
Yeah.
And like
Turns out,
homeschool,
Cult.
you know,
cult.
Big
which,
cold.
like, which doesn't the cult thing wasn't surprising. It was like they were in a cult, and you're like, they all had to grow
for
their hair
sure.
real long, and they could only wear skirts. Like makes
Yes.
sense.
And by the way, spoilers ahead for Shiny Happy People. I'm not going to spoil it for you, John, because you got to watch
okay.
it.
I will.
I'm
But
gonna spoil it for you.
The gist,
can spoil it, it's
The
fine.
gist is basically this.
It'll still be shocking for me.
Is they were part of this church group. It kind of wasn't even a church. It was like this
was-
guy.
It was like it was surrounded around. He is this man who made like almost kind of like self-help books, like religious
Lifestyle.
It was
religious
like lifestyle books.
And it was like how to raise a perfect child and how to have a happy marriage and how to do all this stuff where it honors
the book?
God.
I got it. Yeah, I ordered the whole set. 27 books.
He did the homeschool program.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
That I actually started it. Yeah, so that was me.
And so it's this whole homeschool program where like girls basically were taken out of it and stopped learning like normal education at like 14.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then you started focusing like they would only teach like the math. Like this was the thing that really got me crazy. In this documentary,
Like
is
you
girls.
loved it?
It like cuts between a bunch of people who went through the homeschool program, bunch of people who are in the cult,
Got her.
blasting past.
Plastic
Yeah, you gotta do it.
And like
You
this
gotta
one
do
girl
it.
goes, we only like our math education only went up to fractions because that's what we would need in cooking.
Yeah, that's what their
And in sewing
their
and-
fathers would say or something.
Yeah, like you only need to learn fractions because that's what you'll use
the
when you're in the
big
kitchen.
crux
Which,
of the whole like
honestly, we all just
Go ahead.
need to go up to fractions.
Right.
we all who women.
No.
Okay.
Everyone in math.
Really?
Unless you wanted to be an engineer.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So basically,
I let the record show me as the
homeschooled.
I'm not going to say as the man of the house
You
because that
learned-
is even more
you
damning.
learned adding, you had subtracting,
As
dividing,
Kara's partner,
whatever.
I'm going to say I don't support that.
Yeah.
Kara's partner.
Because I'm also like,
The whole point is like
hierarchy. You
hierarchy.
learn fractions in like third grade, by the way.
Yeah,
You wanna
you've already
stop at
learned
third
adding,
grade?
subtracting, dividing.
You want to stop math
multiplying.
at third grade?
Sure.
Fine.
All right.
I don't use
All
math.
right. Yeah.
I use quick
Cara for
adding and
president.
subtracting.
The point,
you know?
listen, the point is it's not about the math. It's
Here
about
it comes.
the hierarchy. It's the
Yeah.
hierarchy of the their whole thing was like
They
the
had an
children obey the wife.
It was
the
called
wife
the
obeys
umbrella.
the husband. Yeah, it was like the umbrella thing. The husband obeys not God, but the church, basically. This guy.
whoever the like the
Lawrence
eldest
something.
person at the church or whatever, like, and
Yes.
they had the like diagram that's in these books that like
Mm-hmm.
this whole belief system is built off of.
Yep.
And it's this like umbrella, and so of course eventually it comes out, you know, as the Duggar situation is that there was a bunch
The
of
oldest
abuse in
brother was a pedophile. He touched
Pedophile.
all his sisters.
Yep.
and then he ends up getting
Busted for
busted in like
child pornography.
2021.
Yeah, really recently
Yeah.
this all
that.
happened.
All that.
2021
Uh-huh.
child pornography, and we won't describe what the charges are. Absolutely horrible. It like shows the
Yeah.
description from the like
Really?
indictment of the like ages of the kids and all this stuff, and like
Yeah.
absolutely despicable. And if you watch the show growing up, that like the cousin was always there. It was like they had this one cousin Amy
Mm-hmm.
who was like not a part of the religion. So they're like crazy cousin Amy, but we love
Always
her.
dating around, always getting into stuff.
You know, she wearing pants.
And she's like the voice of reason through this documentary. She's like, I cannot believe the things I saw in that house and the things that they did and said. Apparently,
Oh my God.
again, spoilers,
okay.
but this isn't even like you can say any part of it and it wouldn't be the craziest part. Like it just
Yeah.
keeps adding up. This whole freaking documentary is fantastic. Basically, they find out that the oldest brother that does get caught in being a molester it was going on 13 years old, 14 years. I think
Yeah.
it started when he was 14 years old. He was touching his sisters. And the parents fully knew about it. They fully covered it up. They sent him away to this camp, to this church group to like get
basically
fixed.
It's just like child labor until like you're tired, and then they're like, okay, you're fixed. Go home.
Come on back home. We got to shoot some more TV.
He tries to. They have like this really close family friend. He asked the dad for permission to marry his daughter, and the dad's like best friends with the Jim Bob, the dad of the Duggars. And it kind of this starts to like at the same exact time it all comes out that like the first round of allegations of Josh being like a molester, and the dad of this girl he had asked to marry him like goes to Jim Bob and was like, did you guys know about it, all stuff? And he was fully like, yeah. And he goes, and you were just gonna like let him marry my daughter and like my future
was
grandkids?
Like, yeah, pretty much.
And he was like, yeah, well, we were going to let, Josh tell her once they were man and wife. Like, that's his prerogative to tell her. And he's like, no. Like, my daughter's no guinea pig to try to, like, what you hope that him getting married would, like, make him stop. And they're like, yeah. Like, fully like, yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, yeah.
It's
awful.
it's so sad because it's all of these people that have built these, like, systems for themselves, these men, to, like, do whatever they want, get away with whatever they want under a Christian pretext.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's not even like, oh, this verse says this. It's like so, just the dogma. It's like, well, men, wives submit to their husbands, and that means that we can beat our children and,
and part of
overlook
this, like,
sexual
this umbrella
predator
thing that they had,
activities.
Right?
Yep.
Like, the umbrella thing, part of it was any man is over you as a female.
You don't say no to.
So like if you are
literally,
if there's a girl and there's a guy in the room, he has authority over you in that moment.
Yeah.
So like all these girls who would have these guys come and like molest them, they were like, I literally like
let this happen.
I was told that like
let it happen.
I don't have autonomy over myself.
Yeah, and then it's obviously started like cases started piling up, and there started kind of an outcry, and then the leader of this cult basically made like a new book saying that there was now like this big rule on like don't gossip, and like pulled all these Bible verses of like, well, like,
and that God is using you if you got raped.
Yeah, and if you didn't cry out while it was happening,
it was like 6 steps.
That makes me sick.
Yeah,
and it was like,
it's definitely a blood.
If you were raped, you were
boiler.
chosen. And one of the girls, this poor girl, is like, he said that, and I feel weird saying this, but when I was younger, I was kind of envious of my friends who got raped because God used them.
Because God's going to use their pain and what they went through.
She literally, after that, she's like, that sounds so weird to say.
Yeah, definitely a lot of trigger warnings, and certainly, like, it's like I said, it's
so
a blood
interesting,
boiler.
I only saw the last 2 episodes.
Oh, I watched it with my roommate who is not a Christian and, like, didn't really grow up in the church. And it gets to the part where it talks about this program of kids who are these, like, religious homeschool kids who they're, like, pushing into government.
Yeah.
And how they're like, like just shoehorning these kids into like government positions and like having them spend all this time in speech and debate and like basically like making Christian government robots.
One of the kids went to Harvard.
Yeah, like in there, like they have
infiltrating
all these, like,
higher
Harvard
education
and and I'm watching it with my roommate who like fully knows that I used to work in government, and he's like sitting there looking at me, and he goes, "Weird, huh, Annie?" He's like staring at me, but
kind of
he
convenient.
He had like bizarre. This big question, and we recently, as like a group, kind of watched the beginnings of the Hillsong documentary that had come out.
Yeah, that was rough.
And he just kept on saying, he's like, how do people not look at this and be like, this is wrong?
Yeah.
When all of a sudden the leader is like, all these abuse cases are coming out, and and the world's like, well, even like the Duggar thing of like, oh, if he's like a child molester, maybe you should divorce him or don't marry him. And I said, but like people use this one verse in the Bible that speaks of like the promise of persecution. And there's multiple verses in the Bible that kind of speak of this. Like as Christians, you're promised this, that like the world is not going to be for you. It is going to be against you and everything, and people use that to just blindly follow these people. And I'm like, but also in the Bible, there's plenty of times where like Christians fully ask questions. Like most of the disciples were like look at Thomas. He was like, yo, show me the holes in the hands. I don't believe you. Come on. And those are fully in the Bible too for good reason. Like you should have an inquisitiveness about being a Christian. You should not blindly follow anything.
And it is so easy because, like you said, with that verse and that, when you're in this church, people like there's this thing gets thrown around where it's like be in this world and not of this world. And it just builds this victim mentality of like, oh, if somebody is in opposition to me, that must mean I'm doing something right. Like, oh, I'm on the right track because you know what? They're coming for us next. The Christians are under fire. And it's like, no, man, like you are under fire. Like you and your actions and
you are a problem.
Like God is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like God's going to come through.
And like,
you might not.
One of the most compelling parts of this Duggar documentary is one of the Duggar sisters is sitting down with her husband through the whole thing.
That's so sad.
Jill Duggar is there. And she talks, it comes down to this like, you know, when everything's happening and she's finally married and they're doing missionary work and they want her to come back to film the spinoff because their show got canceled because, you know, all the stuff with her brother came out and they want to, you know, do the spinoff. And they're like, no, we're doing missionary work. And, you know, she calls her dad and all of a sudden it's like, for the first time ever, they kind of see this, like this shift of like, oh, he's in it for the money. Like he doesn't care about, he pulls out a contract that he had them sign the day before their wedding.
And they thought it was something to do with their wedding and whatever, and it was a 5-year contract.
It was a 5-year contract, and they had
crazy.
And then they start going through all these contracts that they have where like their parents have been signing like for her and signing her up for things even after she was an adult.
Yeah,
because TLC didn't change the contract saying that they weren't teens anymore.
They were adults.
Yeah,
That's TLC's fault.
And then to find out that her and her siblings had never gotten paid for any of the work that they had done.
Nope.
So
her
crazy.
dad and her mom took all the money. And you know her mom didn't see
Not
a dime
even the
of
mom.
it.
No
No,
way.
Her
just
dad
the
took all the money.
Guaranteed.
And then when they finally kind of brought it up and like it stirred up this kind of conversation of like, hey, like we're entitled to this. Their dad's like, I'll pay you out, but you have to sign a lifetime contract with me. Where you basically work for me forever and you'll get X amount of money in return, which would equate.
It was $18,000.
If you feel like you've heard the whole documentary, this is like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Trust me.
It's crazy.
It is a
insane.
absolute rabbit hole. You're definitely going to want to watch the whole thing. It's 4 parts.
Man.
And
parts, all right.
yeah. So carve out 4 hours this weekend.
4 hours of your
we we also saw Into the Spider-Verse 2.
Oh.
We
Talk
did.
about a great
We can talk
movie.
about that in the post show. Lots of things to talk about in the post show. Thank you so much to our Patreon supporters that get access to that post show, as well as last week we posted a little behind the scenes content. We posted some some fun things are coming up this month, but definitely hey, check that out. Link is below in the bio. On the couch, as always, Cara Tafolla, Annie the Skovmand. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And we'll see you next week on What the Podcast. What the Podcast.
You gotta get Saudi Arabia on the phone.
Saudi Arabia.
It's not even like next to it. I looked where the countries are. It's so lame, dude.
You are
suck.
homeschooled.
Whoa, I don't know about that. Gee.